And how about this great touch right here with the backhand drop shot, one-hander, perfect technique. I like the way HALEP has started the match, just being very aggressive. And this is what they've been working together with Darren Cahill. Just want her to not only retrieve balls, and we know how quick she is on the court, great anticipation, but they also want to go from defense to offense anytime that's possible. Pretty good start for HALEP, just pushing Maria beyond the baseline. And we got to find out how much depth she's going to use today. Simona HALEP try to avoid getting really smacked by the power of Sharapova anytime that she's hitting from the baseline or her head of it. That looks very close, but still wide. He's going to ask to look at the mark, though.
Jung Won down from the chair. And does indeed indicate call was correct. So the early break for Simona, engaging both the aggression off of the return, but also the depth. It's pretty high marks to begin. Well, we did mention the path that both have had to take and how much significantly more work has been required of Sharapova to get through. Not only 2 less matches than Maria, but she hasn't dropped a set to get to this point. It was Kontaveit who entered the semifinals, joining her in that regard, but that was finished off in straight sets by Svitolina. But looking at the way things go with that, the average time on court for Simona in this tournament is 66 minutes. Maria has spent 7.5 hours longer on court. I mean, it is no joke. We're not exaggerating the amount of time that Maria has spent out there, with 3 of her 4 matches going the full complement of sets, and between a walkover and absolutely smashing Garcia.
Well, HALEP only lost 6 games so far in this tournament. Nicely done. I mean, our first run against Osaka was the first round opening, because she had a bye, was absolutely so impressive. She lost the first game, won 12 games in a row.
Yeah.
Big revenge from losing against Osaka in Miami. Take that back. That was Indian Wells where she lost to Osaka. Once again here, very aggressive from both players. This time, she got plenty of time to get to that one.
There's the man from down under, Darren Cahill, native of Adelaide. Pleased thus far. Simona picks up her first winner.
Second. And one part of the game that Sharapova was not happy yesterday is when she started the match against Ostapenko is the return of serves. She was not making enough of them and not being aggressive, especially on the second serve. Making too many unforced errors off of it, which is one of her strengths. And That's what she's looking to improve right here against the HALEP serve, because that's probably the weakest part of HALEP's game. I like really what she did with her forehand here, Maria. She tempered that one a little more, put a little more topspin, didn't hit it as hard as she could. Pushed HALEP back to force the error. Nicely done. No hesitation, going for it with the overhead.
It might have been an aspect worked on following yesterday's match against Garcia, because about the only foot she put wrong during the match was a dismal overhead right in the net from about a foot away. I'm not sure how that's possible, but it is. And so for Simona, those little tweaks, those little things she needed to work on. You know, Cahill was right there in her ear as they want another shot at Sharapova, make it back-to-back victories. HALEP benefiting already from the margin from Sharapova not going her way.
Oh. Screaming backhand down the line. Deuce. That's a good attack here off the return serve, putting the pressure on HALEP. She knows how important it is to step into the return, especially on second serves.
Quality. On the first offering, Simona has really been able to improve dramatically as the week has worn on. The season has worn on, mind you. This week she hasn't had a whole lot of time on court. Forgive me. I mean, Osaka barely got a sniff, and Garcia was out of it within the first 5 minutes. But susceptible on her second serve. That has been something of a touch of a vulnerability if you're going to look for one and nitpick.
Well, and what happened is when you have somebody like Sharapova, who's one of the best receiver in the game, put pressure on the second serve, you're trying to do too much, take risks, and here comes the double fault. And that's so long. She's asking to check the mark, but I mean, it's not even close. I think it was the other one, but
wasn't
still.
Much closer. It was closer, but there was still plenty of space.
Yep, there comes the return. The break back.
Sharapova returns the favor. Thomas Hogstead in her camp, as mentioned, they have reunited after a couple years break. He was in that position during a very successful run for Maria, where she garnered not only titles but picked up the career slam with her victory at Roland Garros the first time in 2012. Yeah, we won't belabor the point, but again, just to drive home, and I think it also leads to why we have expectation for Maria to perform well today. Again, the fatigue factor is in question because this is the 9th match in 2 weeks. And if you go to the quarterfinal when she lost to Burtons and include that match, she's averaging 2 hours and 23 minutes per match, basically the last week. I mean, it has been 9 days since she faced Burtons, but I mean, 6 matches in that time span. You might as well counted as just about a week's worth of work. 2 hours and 23-minute average. She double faults to begin. Now, only bring that up, and last time we'll issue the numbers. Can't say we won't reference it as the match goes, Sylvia. I can't help but think, in watching her reaction with the win over Ostapenko, and then her press conference after, that is a huge adrenaline rush and motivator for Maria now.
She was so excited and answering questions, said, you know, if I'm not excited now, then when would I be excited about winning and beating the reigning champion and somebody who's been playing such great tennis? It's one thing to be also tired physically, but mentally that was such a battle yesterday. And she did suffer a ton of double faults also. And this has really been the tough part of her game throughout all the career.
Her Achilles heel and everything, you know.
Nothing new, but just loses the rhythm. The body language falls apart, and so does the ball. Everything's going down way too soon.
And she's being far too charitable early against the top player in women's tennis currently. 8 unforced errors in the opening 18 points. And that missed the mark, too. I believe Sharapova may ask to have the line checked.
Yeah, Maria is out.
And there's confirmation. So she'll sit down with good news, bad news. She has only won 1 point on serve, but she knows she's capable of breaking. 3 breaks to start, opening set.
Signore e signori, prendere posto laboralmente per favore. Grazie. Seats quickly, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Time.
Three breaks of serve to begin the second semifinal of the day. And if you're saying to yourself, tennis fan, where have I seen this before? You might be thinking about 24 hours ago, because against Caroline Garcia, Halep in her match saw 5 consecutive breaks open the match. Well, we're only at 3, but Maria Sharapova and her stance back to receive has designs on 4. Halep's hoping for more of that. Last thing she wants to see is a lot of clean strikes from Sharapova. She'll take a couple off the frame, indeed. She'd also like to be able to extend Sharapova like that with the control that she's demonstrated with the forehand. That forehand down the line, starting to work its magic. The Jalapenos are starting to be more vocal. Copying Sophie Amiak's look. That double-sided brim on the old baseball. You always carry two baseball
caps.
Yeah,
it's me.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you knew it was trouble when you hit a drop shot and you start backing up because your drop shot is not quite short enough. That's too bad because that was a great shot right here. Very good depth, but right here you need to close in actually and close down the line to make Sharapova go cross court, because if you're backing up you have absolutely no time. Sharapova took surely advantage of the situation there. Yeah, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, every time.
That's
literally.
So far, 6 second serves from Halep. She's yet to win a point off of it.
I said it was a vulnerability, and it's proving to be true. Statistics backing it up, as is the threat from Sharapova once again. Said Maria had designs on 2-all, and here she is looking at a second serve to boot. If it goes in, see if Sharapova punishes it. Oh, crafty. And just biding her time. She was patient and waited. And the setup for the drop shot to break.
Well, it's so difficult when you're playing against a player who has so much power and pushing you further back of the baseline. You're so vulnerable for this kind of shot, but still, it's such great play. Look at the last second. She changes grip. Great control. Very smart.
Just like we designed it, says Thomas Hagstedt, or something to that effect. He was pleased. 2-all, 4 straight breaks.
Third double fault. It's starting to hurt right away in her service game. That's the reason that she's in trouble. Halep, it's because of her second serves. And as for Maria, it's because of her double faults.
Well,
so
and her first serve, too. Hadn't won a point on it, but then again, to be fair, she only won 1 point total.
Maybe because she's not putting them in.
Yeah. just long, and Halep pleased that she was able to hang in and really force a question upon Sharapova. Does she have the stamina? And it only took 20 minutes to see the southpaw shuffle from Sharapova. She used the left hand.
How about that? Just let go the right hand and hit a one-handed lefty forehand. That's talent. Well, it's good to feel that finally she's winning a point out of the last 10 that she...
Yeah, well, it came on a first serve, too.
That's true.
Right up the middle.
On her serve, she hasn't been able to win that many. Almost broken at love again.
And she throws in another double fault, and things continue to spiral downward for the server. An anemic 8 of 30 from the line combined through 5 games. But Halep does push back out in front.
Signore e signori, sedetevi rapidamente, per favore. Grazie. Time.
The great baseball philosopher from America, New York Yankees catcher Yogi Berra. He's got a lot of bon mots out there, but one of the most enduring and sometimes apropos is it's deja vu all over again. Here we are, Sophie, in another Simona Halep match, seeing the first 5 games resulting in breaks. We've seen this before.
I can tell you what's going to happen. If it's deja vu, Halep will hold, because that's exactly what happened.
Yes, it
yesterday.
is. Okay, that's when she did pull out in front of Caroline Garcia yesterday. From that point on, it was off to the races.
22-0.
First ace.
That'll help.
15.
She almost made that. Tried to change the pace in the angle. Didn't work out. Difficult to control, especially when you used to hit very hard and flatter. So far, HALEP is protecting a little bit better her serve, putting more first serves in.
Yeah, and she's gotten a couple of leads in her 3 service games, which Sharapova has not. In fact, this is a position that she's been in already but couldn't protect in her opening game. Remember, she was up with a game point and then had to face 2 break points and surrendered serve. Here she is looking to make that move. That deja vu all over again moment. Simona finding is a bit tight on the off the ground. And she commits another unforced error. Now she has been far more tidy than her opponent today, as the line will once again be checked.
And I mean, that's not even close.
Sure.
Why is she getting down? I mean, I think HALEP is asking her to get down, but you know, at some point she has to say, you know what, it is way long. I'm not getting down. Oh, it's a great second serve here. A lot of pressure at 40-all.
And we're starting to see some futility start to break, and that's a good thing. We saw Sharapova finally win a point on her first serve after going 0 for 7. Now HALEP has finally won a point on her second serve after going 0 for 8. That is punishment. That is sending that back with disdain.
And that's what Sharapova was not able to do yesterday in the first set against Ostapenko. She was just not successful off the return of serve. She was doing better off her serve, but and again, 3 out of 4 drop shots so far were winning proposition for Sharapova. She has such great feel. Once again, in this one, HALEP was even closer. Still can't get to it. It's just too good.
Impeccably timed and executed to arrive at break point. And HALEP succumbs. 6 in a row go the way of the returner in the opening 29 minutes.
It's a record.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm trying to think back. I remember, I believe it was 2013 Cincinnati, a match that was calling Victoria Azarenka and Jelena Jankovic, and I believe, memory serves, 27 games, 24 breaks.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, I'm just going off, and, you know, it's been a couple years, but are we heading in that direction?
That is so good. The depth, the power.
22-0.
Yeah, you wonder about the reuniting and the conversations that transpired first to set it up, to rekindle the coach-player relationship. Just why from HALEP is Sharapova doesn't suffer fools, and not that Hochstead is one, but it would take a lot to say, well, it wasn't working for a while, so we decided to end it, to come back to it and to really trust the process once again and believe that what's going to happen going forward is what's going to help rejuvenate her career. And she calls this a second act.
Yeah, and she talks about the mutual respect that they have for each other, and she says that he is definitely one of the best coach on the tour.
First lead Sharapova's had on her serve today.
Oh, that is exquisite. I mean, how tired she must be. Those legs are feeling heavier and heavier as the point is going on, but it's been at least 2 or 3 rallies and long one that Sharapova was able to extend her energy, finishing with this beautiful down-the-line winner. And one thing that really has changed in this game is so far no double faults, which is huge for her. She has raised her level on the serve, taking a little pace off, putting that first serve in. Makes a huge difference.
Remarkable. Here she is at 40 love, poised to get the first hold of serve, and yet she has only won 5 points in now her 4th service game.
How long, with this kind of rallies, pace, and movement, Sharapova can extend herself. I wouldn't mind seeing a few drop shots from HALEP's racket as well during those rallies.
Yeah, just to test the legs of Sharapova coming downhill towards the middle of the court instead of exclusively lateral movement. That was a test as she had to come forward. Sharapova technically 1 for 1 in coming to the net today. That's as far as statistics go. Yeah, I agree. That's going to be something Simona might have to bandy about a bit. The idea, bring her forward. Let's see what Maria's got. Stability in those legs. Oh, she's got it. And she's on a roll. Feeling it. As she fires a backhand winner to produce the first hold in 7 games. Former number 1, out in front of the current number 1 in Rome.
Seguiremo i più grandi campioni del tennis mondiale sfidarsi sui campi di Chicago per aggiudicarsi la mitica Level Cup. E a novembre il nuovo Milano, con la seconda edizione delle supermercati Next Gen ATP Finals. Benvenuti a casa vostra, benvenuti su Super Tennis.
Okay, then. So the plot thickens. How do you like that? 7 games in. There's been a hold. Sharapova producing 5 of her 6 points from the line, and she has the lead somehow, some way, on the strength of a remarkable return game. Simona Halep stepping the line herself, and look at that return. Hey, as if we queued it up. That was live, not a replay.
Oh, she's hot right now, just jumping on everything. We talked about trying to move Sharapova forward for Halep as well, using the drop shot. But another thing is on the running, the way that Sharapova is moving. I mean, Halep is moving her side to side. How about wrong footing her, going behind her at some point during the rally? Let's see if that helps also.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, again, you can't help, although I'm starting to think Sharapova just has some sort of battery pack that she's hiding somewhere underneath her kid in the back, hidden from view. This is unbelievable.
Well, those last two back-end down the line winners that she hit through the game were exceptional. And then one really important thing also that she did is she didn't double fault. Serve was there.
She said wait before actually you start.
Because I didn't hear.
Well, she was not ready.
You have to say so at the microphone. Otherwise I can...
Well, the thing
Well, this is...
the spectator noise.
She's asking for first serve, really. That's what she's saying.
Yeah. And this is an element of a touch of a mind game going on, because Halep doesn't want the precedent set that Maria can put her hand up right in the middle of her toss. And Simona says, I wasn't looking down, didn't see that she had called pause, and we'll see how that plays out going forward.
Well, we've seen a backhand down the line earlier in this tournament with Kontaveit, but this one is starting to be as good, if not better. Once again, she's moving her side to side. Good to see her wrong footing her.
Well, yeah, just the little aspects. I can't help but think that there was a little subterfuge there and some mind game going on, as Maria, who used some of that to great effect against Ostapenko yesterday from the return position. We'll revisit that in a moment. Halep in trouble here, 3 of 12 on second serves, putting one in play, facing break point. Yeah, it worked to great effect for Sharapova. It was sort of almost what we would call in football parlance in North America as, or gridiron, pump fake. She would start to slowly move during the toss and then return to the place, and Ostapenko couldn't deal. It led to a couple of double faults. And it's Maria who decides to go back behind Simona.
The backhand return, the backhand overall has been exquisite today. Just setting up so many points.
What is this? That is Maria at full stretch and producing the power for the break.
Well, we talked about the backhand. How about that forehand? Cross-court short on the stretch.
5-3.
Gorgeous.
We don't have to question the motivation, and we can stop talking about her endurance for quite a while now. She's in the driver's seat. 3 consecutive games. Halep with no holds, facing a 1-set deficit. Her first set lost if Sharapova can convert from the line.
It's been a while. She's trying to relax. And the tightness of the shoulders just... But if it's clipping the net or going in the net, it's because she's not reaching high enough, not keeping her head up at impact, not keeping her upper body straight. Those are really the clues for any serves going in the net.
Mumble. The crowd can't believe. Here's an opportunity to seize a hold of this against the current number one, and half a dozen double faults have been committed by Maria. Put herself in danger here.
And second time that she's opening with back-to-back double fault.
Yep.
Same thing happened in her second service game. Just when you think that you have a set in your hand, just when you think that you're so comfortable, the double fault sneaks in and the confidence, you know, goes down.
Oh, quick wrists. And that was great reaction time from Sharapova, showing her dexterity. It was upon her in a flash.
Look how quickly she gets her upper body turned. 1-2. Very quick. Great reaction.
No lead is safe. I don't think either woman is going to take anything for granted. Certainly not the lead for the fourth time. With a lead via the break, breaking right back on serve, opening set in Rome. It's a far cry from her opening two matches, and that's all she's played in Rome in 2018, dropping a total of 6 games to reach the semifinals. Simona Halep. Sharapova has already accrued 5. If she gets a 6th, it'll be the first dropped set by the world number 1. Looking for first hold for level terms.
Yeah, it is white.
Hope those are running shoes Jenny's got on today. Demands have been frequent.
Well, the one good thing mentally is that she knows that she's really in trouble with her serve, but she also knows that she has the best return in the games right now.
Sharapova.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sharapova. Yep.
Just so demanding with those returns, and Halep not having the answer as of yet today. Give us a little insight, though. What makes her, I mean, what puts her atop the heap?
Well, I think the short, really backswing, the rotation of the shoulder, very quick, and being aggressive going forward and being tall, you know. It's right in her strike zone. Look at that. And I think that's also the fact that since she's little, she's been working on that returner serve. Just like if it was, you know, the most important point. And there's really the two things that you have to work on a lot harder than any other shot are serves, returner serves. Ask Serena Williams, she'll tell you the same thing.
Sharapova unrelenting in the opening 47 minutes. It wasn't a sterling performance from the line, but she was perfect, breaking Halep 5 for 5 when the world number one stepped to the line. Halep drops her first set, and Sharapova out in front in Rome.
Right, what do you think's happening?
Having my mind that she's killing me with the forehand as a return, and I'm trying to serve only back and forth.
You're not getting it there.
It's in my head, and I'm afraid to serve because I have this in my mind.
But you're not getting it to the backhand. So can you use that three-quarter kick a little more?
I have to motivate myself just to not be afraid to serve.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I'm
Okay.
taking all the serves.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to serve, and also don't back up on the first shot, because what's happening is the first shot's going down the middle of the court and you're falling backwards. And once you go backwards, you're staying back there. You haven't thrown one ball up high to get back into the point.
Comes here and she
Go down the middle of the court or down the line. The other thing is everything's going cross-court from you, so she's cutting the angles. So once you go back and you start hitting every ball cross-court, then she just cuts the angles and she's pressuring you. So you've got to take more balls down the line. Hold the baseline a little bit stronger on the return of serves, exactly the way you're playing on the return games.
feel that it's not working.
Exactly the way you play on the return games is the way you play your service game. Simo, the return games, what are you doing on the return games? You're staying up, being aggressive, going down the line, correct? And on the service games, hey, on the service games, you're falling back, hitting everything.
Boys to have a little bit more energy because they stay there. And
Are you listening, Simo? You're listening. Same attitude on the return games as on the service games. The return games have been awesome. You're getting up, you're going down the line, backhand down the line fast, your forehand down the line is great because you're falling backwards. So hold the position a little bit stronger. Use the working. You've had plenty of chances on balls that are sitting up to hit that first one down the line, but you're backing up and you're rolling the ball cross court and she's still in time. Yeah. Come on, here we go, come on.
Maria Sharapova playing the reigning #1 player in women's tennis for the 24th time, looking for her 8th victory and her first in some time since she beat Victoria Azarenka in 2012 at the WTA Finals. Well, she's got herself up a set on Simona Halep, who has been shaken and even admitted as much that she's a bit intimidated by the power that is coming from the right arm of Maria Sharapova, who serves to begin the second. A set away from facing Alina Svitolina for the championship in Rome. A couple things, Sophie, that are notable, but let's just get right to it. Cahill, and his talk to Halep was stern.
Well, I mean, he was telling you that during the rally that she was playing way too much cross court to try to change and go down the line, especially with her backhand down line. Use it, stick to your line, try to actually serve the exact same way as you're receiving. When you're on the receiving side, you're much more aggressive, you move moving forward. And she's saying that she sounded like panicking, and he asked her to put a 3/4 of a kick serve and not to back up on the first shot on the returner serve of Maria. But in all, there was, a little bit of a clash between the two. also mentioned to roll some ball, to put a little bit more shape on the ball sometimes. That's what she did in this exchange.
Yeah, she was noticeably flustered, though, and part of the give and take was the pushback was because she's such in a fragile state right now. He was offering advice and trying to stay stern and get it to her, and he asked a couple times, are you listening? Because she kept offering excuses, and Darren stayed the course and really tried to get her to narrow her focus. It's such a unique relationship because we know the history between the two, and there was a parting last year where Darren felt that he couldn't do any more to help her because Simona can get so down and go down this rabbit hole of darkness. But they reconnected, got her to #1 in the world, but still working on that relationship and how to get that message through.
That's the first time she's really wrong-footing Sharapova. Didn't mention Darren Cahill to use that tactic. Didn't mention anything about maybe drop-shotting sometimes to bring Maria forward.
And guess what that is? That's our first backhand winner of the match. See if the tutelage of the Australian helps Simona, helps to bring in her vision, narrow it a bit. Already making good strides in this opening game, though, let's be fair, Sharapova hasn't been serving at an exceptional clip today. Simona looking for her 5th break. Santana transfixed. Sharapova moves it to deuce. Santana, of course, no longer tournament director in Madrid, but will be the honorary president for a while. Shared his 80th birthday a week ago with some guy from Ireland, Paul Hewson. You familiar with him?
No.
Bono. Sharapova might just get out of this and give herself a nice little push. Or would she enjoy just adding a little heaping helping of pressure on Halep's shoulders?
Look, anytime she's serving and she doesn't have a double fault is a bonus so in the game. So I think she should be happy every time that happens.
Yeah, a viable threat to hold for a second time.
That's a great return. Very aggressive, taking that early. Halep. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Yeah. Nice job, Soph. Well, it was bound to happen. I mean, there have been 7 double faults amongst 33 points put in play.
Only in 2 service games, didn't she? Did she avoid the double faults? The rest, 1 to 2 per game.
Oh, come on now. Maria, what are you doing? That is magnificent. And she's just doing it at will.
I mean, the technique is perfect, and Halep is yet to really anticipate that shot.
On break point, no less. Fearless.
Voila. The first backhand down the line that is opening really a point, and the winner from Halep. Thanks to Darren Cahill. Reminding her that she does have this strength off the backhand side to redirect down the line and hurt her opponent.
Well, oftentimes that's Cahill's main role, is to fortify the belief. If Simona's believing in her game, she does great things. When she starts to waver, starts to waver, it can lead to big trouble. Hogstead not too fussed to this point.
Oh, that was such a great serve.
Halep.
Just disappointing for Maria as she watches her forehand sail along. Did so well to dig that low ball out, but Halep steps up to start the set and gets the break she needed. So that'll bolster a whole lot of aspects to Simona's game, at least one would think to this point, as we take a look back at the numbers from the opening set. Wow. What a start.
What a start. You're right. And, you know, looking at those numbers, look at the number of winners for Sharapova, 15, but also the unforced error very high. But really what's transparent, really, from that set was the return of serve of Maria outweighed the difficulty that she had on her serve. And that's pretty much how she was able to take that one. Just returning so well and putting a lot of pressure on Halep's serve as well.
Yeah, that's a great characteristic to describe it as. She just managed to do that a little bit better to outweigh the negative. Look at that, 10 games played, and do the math down at the bottom there, 9 breaks of serve. And by the way, do we love the tennis community or what? Jeffrey D. up north of the border in Norte Americano, confirming that I'm not completely lost yet. It was 23 of 27 breaks in the Azarenka Jankovic match from 5 years ago in Cincinnati. We'll see if we're on our way towards even getting close to that. The collective we really boiling down to Halep and Sharapova as the world #1 starts with a 1-love lead.
No wonder you're scared of serving. I mean, when you Halep, I mean, even that return missed by Sharapova, it's going so fast. She hit the tape. That could have been in, and that was not a bad serve from Halep. I think the serve to the body might be more secure, or here going straight to the tee. The power keeps coming down from Sharapova. She's hitting the ball so hard. She knows she doesn't want to stay here for too long on this court today. After the amount of hours she's spent here in Rome She hasn't seen much of the city, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, when she's here, she's working. Yeah, those forward steps, those long levers, coupled with those legs, allow her to cover a lot of ground. Lateral, that's been working fine. Give it a check. Forward, seems to be A-OK. Another check. Ultimate goal, the final. One set on the books. Yeah, to your point, not only the time on court here, but in Rome, all she does really is just push herself towards the last day.
Oh, look what she has to come up with. That's gutsy. I like for her to go to T though on that ad side, because you know Sharapova likes to go around the backhand side and hit the forehand as a return.
I just can't help but feel this is crucial for Halep. Absolutely. Every facet of allowing some sunshine in through those dark clouds. And she's got it. 0 for 5 in the opening set. 1 for 1 from the line in the second.
Well, it's definitely a start. Now let's see how she reacts in this game.
I can't help but think that if Darren Cahill just supplies that sort of little impetus to get things going. I don't know if it was on purpose, but not wanting to be the baddie. You know, Cahill started out with a black hat. By the time he came down to the court, he was wearing the white cap. Good man. And Sharapova now knows, at least for the moment, she's in a bit of a duel here.
And now she's almost going too much down the line on this one. I mean, you've got to hurt Maria going down the line. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up for some screaming cross-court shots. Oh, well. They looked at each other's serve on the tee, on the ad side. This one on the first serve. Ace for Sharapova. Halep did that on the second serve earlier.
Yeah, the first against those 7 double faults. She's got 28 for the tournament. She's spreading them out sparsely. Contemplative Cahill. Five X's for 5 majors, including twice at Roland Garros. Yeah, Wimbledon, U.S. Open, Australian Open, and then a pair at Roland Garros. Sharapova with a statement hold on the board at love in set number 2. In the semifinals once again, world number 1 Simona Halep resurrecting the hashtag Semi-Simona from back earlier the year. If you remember, 4 tournaments, 4 straight semifinal runs, including finals in her first 2 events. Then she would go a trio of tournaments with quarterfinal berths at best at Stuttgart and Madrid before returning to, yes, hashtag Semi-Simona here in Rome. But truth be told, it's not extended just to 2018. In fact, she has now finding herself in her 43rd career semifinal. But it's her 26th in the last 4 years. And she's won 7 of her last 9 when reaching the Final Four. Indeed, hashtag Semi-Simona does start to trend again. There's good reason why. Now, she wouldn't mind making it to Simona final, but she's got work to do.
Oh, that's sublime. That backhand, I mean, it looks like she can hit it blindfolded.
30 15.
Not thinking twice about it, just executing, picking your target.
Yeah, the muscle
going
memory,
for it.
unbelievable. Just a little bit of a slip, and Halep wise to use the open court. Sharapova can't scramble, and here we go. We're on.
You continue to play, so I can't check now. If you stop.
Yeah, I think that's Sharapova's appealing to the chair that she wanted to call, but Maria made a play on it and then started to move towards the ball.
It was not clear for your stopping. The point finish, I can't go.
And Jeong-Hyun has a point, because watch Sharapova's reaction. She starts to move the other way, and then she stops, and that's where Jenny is saying, you know what, you made a play and you realized you weren't going to get there, and now you want to appeal? Motion denied. So where did she put her frustration?
I'm sorry. Can we see that again?
It was pretty quick. We might need to.
Talk about getting ready fast and getting your racket hit through that ball so quickly. The point of contact is perfect right in front of her. Oh boy.
Dare deny me another look? Well, I'll show you what I'll do. Try to take the air out of the ball. And another.
I mean, this is Sharapova at her best. I mean, you cannot argue to what kind of returner. Even he is a little bit shocked and looking at it going, really?
He's bemused, but
this
she's
is
perturbed.
who she is. I mean, this is who she is. This is, you know, her strength is the return serve. And no wonder you get scared to serve with what's coming. And think about how you feel right now hitting a second serve after those 2 back-to-back first serve winners.
Oh, stop it. I mean, that's insult to injury, and Simona has to regroup very quickly right now. Because this moment at the 71-minute mark, Sharapova with that left-handed lob was ridiculous.
2 back-to-back winners, mag 2. You don't see the ball. And then you're in the rally and she hits a rolling forehand lefty. Why not? Finally.
Yeah, Halep needed that point.
I think she's smiling herself too, going, really? I mean, this is ridiculous. Well, if she's going to do that, she can take the match. I can tell you that much.
Fault. Per favore, grazie.
I mean, she's almost better off hitting a forehand lefty on this. I mean, she's been so successful. Let go that right hand, Maria.
Big step forward for Simona. She's been pretty candid over the last couple of months, better part of a year, about working with a sports psychologist to help shore up the demons that sometimes she brings into her game. And she was in danger of completely losing the plot.
I know, but
well done.
Look at that serve, what she has to come up with as far as serving. I mean, that was right on the line. It's huge risk. It's paying off, though. You're going to have to take some chances against somebody who's returning that well.
By the way, just to under muffled point to make here. 3 consecutive holds of serve. Sharapova trying to make it 4.
And that was behind Sharapova's body right here. Wrong footing her, got her a little bit off balance, forced the error.
Just wide, and a couple more gifts starting to creep into Sharapova's game. She had been keeping it pretty clean after an erratic start. (17) on forced errors in the opening set, already producing 9 in these opening 5 games.
Second.
Well, she's learning from the master.
Yeah.
Attacking the second serve.
Learned, right?
Yep, taking notes. She's like, I'm going to jump on the second serve as well. I mean, you cannot be comfortable being Sharapova serving with the way you've been serving throughout the match. So it's good on HALEP to take her chances as well.
30-40.
And HALEP out to a 4-1 lead. We talked so much about Sharapova's prowess in Rome with her 3 titles. Let's not forget, Simona got to the final in 2017.
Sharapova has required 0
Okay or not? Hello.
HALEP conduce 4-1.
Okay, thanks.
4 games to 1.
Hitting the ball, unbelievable. You could have just won every game here. So just continue what you do. Just a little bit more backhand down the line. So you go a little bit more, put pressure on the forehand. And the other thing also. I mean, unbelievable won the first set because you didn't really go for it. And then just push up. Here or there, you see you try to go quick, second serve like this one. But most of the time you've been ready there, wide to the forehand. But keep what you're doing, keep going in. But just don't stay too long cross court, just especially with the backhand before you go there. And then when you can go, swing one or move your way forward. Playing great. If she come out of the hitting zone, great. And keep doing unbelievable good drop shots you do. Just feel like you don't wait for the serve. Go up and snap it a little bit quick in motion and go up and rip it. You're going to take this one. If it's 2 or 3 or whatever, just 1 point off and out. She's going to click, but already early in the game. Come on, let's go here. Come on, let's go. A little more to the forehand. Come on.
Yeah, it takes mental stability and fortitude. It's starting to extend all through the Foro Italico as Simona Halep putting some on display here. Went through a very rough patch, but has pushed herself to a 4-1 lead in set 2. As Maria Sharapova extolling the virtues of Darren Cahill, we got to give credit where it's due to this man, Hogstead, sounding as if he might be in concurrence with some of the thoughts you were putting forth.
Yeah, very positive and telling her to go up and snap on the serve, but she has to go up first before she can snap. Once again, the lefty forehand to retrieve that ball. Didn't have a choice, didn't get there in time to get the right hand on that ball, but also he wanted Sharapova to not stay too long on the cross-court rally. It's pretty good agility here, but Halep able to negotiate that ball very well.
Randa condition 30-50.
Hogstead also trying to temper his comments with some, what he wanted to impart was a little bit of realism. Don't worry about a point or two here. You're going to win this match. 2 sets, 3 sets, it doesn't matter. You've got this.
Yeah, I didn't like when he said 2 sets, 3 sets, because that's putting in the mind of your player that they might lose that set. I would keep at it and think about the present and this one game right here and coming back.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I guess in hindsight I agree with you. I think the initial reaction was that, listen, you're not going to win every point, but as long as you stick to the basics and keep your game uncomplicated, play how you're capable and how we spoke of, you're going to be fine. The final awaits.
He's trying to make her not go cross-court on that one, but A comfortable way to hit this one is really to go short cross court. Not sure. I mean, that worked really well throughout the match, so. She's not as effective as she's been, Sharapova, on the returner serve as well, not hitting her targets as much as she did in the first set. Credit to HALEP serving better.
Yeah, and Simona's been on the poor end of some of the punishment that Sharapova is able to produce. She delivers some of her own. And this is a stunning turnaround. As the belief has risen, the Jalapeños are starting to get very vocal. As she heats up for 5-1.
5 games to 1.
See if Sharapova's able to answer the call, or are we destined for what we have become so accustomed to? 3-set Sharapova.
Well done. That drop shot has been key in the first set. You know how hard you have to, well you have to hit it to be able to beat Simona. And quite beat her all the way here, but that was such a tough shot that the lob, very effective. She's not getting to that ball as quickly as she was, Sharapova. And she did exhaust a lot of energy in that first set to win it.
Continuing to feed off that vulnerable second serve. HALEP has only allowed Sharapova a pair of points thus far in each set, 4 in total out of 17. That puts Simona that much closer towards her goal. And now she'll be within a point of it happening. A dozen looks with 6 breaks to this point, hoping for lucky number 13 to produce a 7th and force a deciding set. knocked out by Sharapova. A remarkable regrouping by the world number one means the endurance test of Maria continues. Madam 3-set will be tested once again, the 5th time in 6 matches over 9 days. Sharapova going to a 3rd set in the semifinal in Rome. I doubt that DJ was listening when we made the reference towards Manolo Santana's 80th birthday, and he shares a birthday with the lead singer of U2, Bono. Interesting choice, though, here between sets 2 and 3, playing the band from Ireland and You're the Best Thing About Me. Maybe a little subtext, because if you think back before the set started, where Simona Halep started her miraculous turnaround, Darren Cahill came down to the court, tried to maintain a positive stance, and when he got some pushback, he said, listen to me, do what you are here to do. And he tried to narrow her focus, and look at the results. The world number one wins 6 of 7 games. So good on you, DJ, and I'll forgive whatever that Backstreet Boys remix thing was you did between sets 1 and 2. That was dismal. Hey, let's look at the time on court overall. That's entering this match of 1 hour and 26 minutes. We talked about it. 7.5 hours more for Sharapova than Halep.
Well, we're going to have to think that at some point it's going to have an effect on Maria. And you could tell already in the second set, her stepping, her movement was not as good. And what really didn't work well for Maria on that set also is the return serve was just not as efficient as it's been. Credits to some improvement on Halep's side from her serve from the line. Just not losing her serve once in this set. And then the other thing that really, if you look at the numbers, Halep is pretty much even kill on, unforced errors, 7 and 7 in each set. But then the number of winners are growing in the second set. As opposed to Maria, it's up and down, way down. And that is the chance right there. I mean, she's definitely not as successful as far as winners are concerned. Only 8 winners here in this set for Maria. She had 15 in the first. So in the enforced errors, a little bit less, but still, it's really on the return serve that she's going to need to be more aggressive, and she's got to watch for those double faults.
By the way, the strains of the boys from Dublin still playing. Their album and tour right now is called Songs of Experience, and both these women so experienced in winning here in Rome. And it's an opportunity for each of them to get back to the final. Sharapova, 3-time champion, and HALEP, runner-up. Have you ever seen you two live?
No.
You should.
I have not.
This is an amazing tour. I believe they're in Omaha, Nebraska on their U.S. tour tonight. It's worth checking out.
I'm heading that way. I got to go now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Go see it. Oh, amazing.
I don't think I can make it unless there's a direct flight from Italy to Omaha.
I'm not sure, but they will be touring
Let's
Europe
hurry up.
in the summer and then back home late
this
in the year.
needs to finish quickly.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting for Maria Sharapova to return to the court. She's taking a long step away, resettle herself after what was a pretty one-sided second set. And, of course, there is one woman who may not be paying direct attention, but at the same time is still paying a lot of attention of sorts.
Oh, yes, she is.
Only needed 74 minutes earlier today to be able to produce her victory. Of course, we're talking about the defending champion, Svitolina.
Yeah, she's definitely watching, and she's hoping for a very long third set right now for those two players, so they can at least get something heavy on the legs for tomorrow's final. But for sure she's watching and definitely taking some notes with her coach.
Well, Maria has returned. She's returned from the locker room. She's returned to Rome, where she has enjoyed so much success. 31 match wins at this tournament to help contribute to 3 titles, winning 3 of the last 7, 3 additionally to Serena Williams, and of course last year Elena Svitolina triumphing at the Italian Open. Final set to see who moves through in Roma into the championship match on Sunday against the defending champion on a 9-match win streak. Ukraine's Elena Svitolina. World number 1. Hashtag Semi Simona looking to make it through to the final. She'll give herself the first push, serving in the decider.
All she needs to remember is how she got to 6-4 in the first set, and that was one of the reasons that she did. Just being aggressive on the return serve.
A future tennis star voicing their opinion right before HALEP's ball toss, to the amusement of the crowd. As HALEP doing well to maintain her focus and settle in. She really has been a work in progress as far as being able to withstand the peaks and valleys. Again, can't help but think, from her side, the emotional endurance that she needs, Sharapova, the physical side. Couple that with a 3-dimensional chessboard type tactical moves that each is trying to use as well as with their coaches, and it's going to be intriguing to see who is able to finally get across the line here.
Net. Present.
Got it up, but can't get back into play as Sharapova. She was right there, and again, always be moving. Well, she was ready. Somehow Simona dug that out.
I mean, she's so good on the run to the forehand side to be able to recover and hit something even better. I mean, she finds the pocket short cross court, and that's a killer on the run. And you might as well just go down the middle at her. And we talked about the numbers a little bit earlier when Maria took a comfort break, and sure enough, the number of winners was 13. I thought there were actually 10 winners for HALEP in
I'm always going to agree with you, so yeah, come on. Let's get that right.
It is, you know, the 13 and 4 serve, but really the fact that she was not able, Maria, to really return as well and take the serve of HALEP was the difference in the second set.
So Sharapova begins serving in her 5th 3-set match in her last 6 matches, extending back to her loss to Bertens in Madrid. Part to reconciling what is this is she had been off to a brutal start when she was forced to go the distance. She entered the tournament with a 1-4 record in 3-set matches, but she's been able to gut out those 3 to get herself to the semifinal. Meanwhile, HALEP in 2018 has been stellar. 2 losses in 11 3-set matches. A dazzling 9-2 record that she hopes to extend further. For a rematch of last year's final.
She got to that one, and I mean, I'm amazed at the fact that she hit that forehand off the drop shot of Sharapova and start pedaling back so quickly. Just does not want to come to the net. Look at this, pedal back and still able to win the point because Maria hit that one short. That could have been trouble. Oh, yes. What a great serve. She's serving better. Definitely going up on that serve and out. As asked by Hochstedt, asking her to put some snap and getting up there on her serve. It's working, especially on that side. She just, on the ad side, had a kick serve that really worked well. Kicking wide. HALEP doesn't like when that ball goes that high. Is much more comfortable in the short cross-court shot of HALEP than the deep one and high. Maria, her response is a lot more efficient. This one just got away from her.
Oh, that was brilliant. Spot on. That basically touched nothing but white line.
And that's what Darren Cahill wanted her to do. Use and trust your backhand down the line. I think it's even inside the line, Kevin.
There was a speck of dirt on there. You're right.
That's so good it was. She even had margin for error.
I didn't see that little puff of dust at the end, but you're correct. She produces just her third winner from that wing, but more importantly has break point. And she's on a roll.
This looks familiar.
Yeah, this is getting into Sharapova's game time and time again. Maria only holding once in the opening set, once in the second set, and she is broken for an 8th time today. So Halep back on even footing. Simona, the returner, doing fine. Let's see if she continues to roll as she did through much of the second set, barring that opening game hiccup.
Well, she said it in the first set that she's scared to serve. It seems like she's feeling the same way right now. Just because of the quality of the return of Sharapova. Well done. I don't know if she meant to hit it shorter, but it worked because Sharapova was way, way behind the baseline, and that ball bounced in the service line area. And Sharapova didn't make it up with her legs to go towards the bounce.
And Halep looking to test Sharapova a bit. A subtle endurance test in this third game. Hanging in the rally, not making any mistakes. And that little changeup altered the path. 15:30 though, all too familiar pattern she finds herself in.
That's a good serve, middle of the box. Didn't move around that one fast enough, right at the body of Sharapova. Sharapova knows that she missed an opportunity here.
The start Halep needed. So 28 weeks and current #1 out in front of 21 weeks and former #1, 2-1 in the deciding set in Rome. Italico, home of the Italian Open in Rome, Italy. All makes sense and all starting to come together. Push comes to shove. Who's going to back up and who's going to make that bold step forward? Simona Halep. She wants to get back to the championship match where she came 1 win short of winning this title last year, and the woman who bested her awaits. Or will Maria Sharapova, marketing on those 31 match wins at this tournament and 3 titles, find a way to grit out another 3-set win? Fun stuff.
That's incredible. I mean, where is she finding that energy? And then finding that angle. Look how cute that angle is. From where she is, not encountering the net at all. It's perfection.
Signore e signori, durante il punto, silenzio, grazie.
Appealing to the crowd is Zhongwan, asking, do not call out during play. And suddenly silence. Court Centrale.
Well, it's quite hard to retain your excitement. I mean, these are incredible points.
Yeah, but when Jenny speaks, people listen. Simona.
Oh, look at the agility at the net. Why don't you come net more often? This was impeccable. This was almost like the best players and the best volleyer in the world.
And the crowd cannot contain their excitement. I'll tell you what, Simona learned her lesson. She's been burned by the drop shot today, and she said, not this time. Nuh-uh. Almost a Dikembe Mutombo. No, no, no. Not here.
Grazie, per favore.
That is such a quality return from HALEP. And just, you know, being able, after that excitement of putting that backhand volley in the court, just recalibrating and being ready for the next shot. I mean, that is primo.
And you know what I think we might have just seen there? The effect of the average of 2 hours and 23 minutes on court for Sharapova in these last 5 3-set matches over 9 days. She just didn't have it to get back. Now be careful. I know Team Maria is going to be all over us and say, hey, how dare you even question Sharapova's fitness or her mental stability, but it just seemed that one little step there. If she has to start running again, she may be just a half-second slower. We'll see if HALEP can exploit that or not.
I can't say it anymore because I said it too many times yesterday, and I mean, she was just surprising me more and more through the match against Ostapenko. She was sure trying to put extra on that shot. Wants to finish that point.
Yeah, doesn't want to engage.
Maybe you're right, Kevin. Maybe she feels it so much in her legs that she's really trying to push for a little bit too much. Definitely hitting harder, which is scary to say, but yeah. It's happening. That's more down the middle. She likes to have more angle when she hits the ball, Sharapova. It's a great shot from HALEP.
And again, a low ball. Sharapova trying to get the legs down, get deep. Now the numbers speak for themselves. An abundance of opportunities for both. Combined 25th break opportunity as HALEP seeks the outright lead. She's got to get it right, doesn't she? If those nerves are wavering. 8 double faults today. But the backhand too strong. Looking to finish quick. And trips herself up. HALEP 3-1 in the third. And the Jalapenos are really fired up now.
That was a different move to that ball. Definitely lunging to it. She did lunge earlier, but it was one more step before that lunge. Hochstedt knows that she's feeling it. Now trying to find the intensity and the energy still. Moria. Once again, not opening too many angles on that shot, HALEP. She's been successful. Wow, that came fast. And the serve to the body is maybe one to use at this stage, because you have to look at Sharapova every time that she's hitting a striking return or a good one during the rallies when she's pushed wide.
And when she's stretched, you know.
Exactly. Well done. Right on the left hip.
Yep. There's a phone cue. You know this game, so. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It just seems that Maria feels most comfortable out, stretched out, and being able to really put extra pace on it. When it's tight, she's unable to get around and maneuver. Too good. It's just been a clinic as far as the drop shots that Sharapova has employed today.
Yeah, one stroke really that HALEP has not used is the drop shot for herself to use against Sharapova.
Going back to your point on the previous drop shot, you could hear HALEP as soon as the drop shot was used. She, exhaled and said, "Oh, I got to get up there." You would almost think that might click with her. Hey, if it's hurting me, what about her? I've only played 2 matches. She's played 4. 3 of them going the distance. Oh, another stretched out, concussive return.
What's amazing is that the last one she hit cross-court the same way with the same intensity, and this time down the line she just loves to be stretched off that forehand side. Absolutely incredible. That's still at the left hip, and she's not liking it. Doesn't have room to hit it.
Now, that's all well and good on the ad side. Has Simona learned the lesson on do side? The longer rallies now are starting to favor one over the other.
It almost felt like she was going to drop shot, and then changed her mind and went for the top spin or flat backhand. It looks like she was ready with a racket head to change it and go drop shot. But look at the reaction from HALEP. She knows how important it is. She had 2 points to go up 4-1. And here is another chance here for Simona HALEP.
Caught the line. That just altered the path just a bit as HALEP couldn't get a racket on it cleanly.
I mean, when it gets tougher, she's just hitting harder. This is incredible. This is so vintage Maria. And if any of you don't think that she's back, well, I got news for you.
You're wrong.
Oh, she's definitely back to some incredible level of tennis. And this is definitely top 10 tennis as far as I'm concerned for Maria.
She's already back in the top 30. And a win puts her even close to the top 25. And she seems on her way headed north as the crowd has to be reprimanded for their outbursts. Here's HALEP for the second time in this game trying to defend her serve against break point. a late call out, and here comes the chair umpire for a closer look. And it missed the mark. It was in front of Sharapova. She knew it. She started heading towards the chair immediately. For Halep, a pause to reflect, and she'll have to regroup. As go figure, a 16th break in semifinal number 2. We've eclipsed the 2-hour mark. How far are we going in Rome?
3 games to 2.
Sharapova has broken back to get on serve in set number 3. Simona Halep was out of the chair very quickly and hovered above that last out call. She wasn't convinced that the call went right for her, but what's done is done. Back to the return position. She definitely didn't believe, but she started. Once again, the backhand has started.
You got to trust your backhand. We've heard that from Darren Cahill so many times. And it's true. One of her best weapons besides her movement, especially the one down the line. Another long rally that's taking a toll on Moria right here.
The last 4 or 5 really have favored Halep. And here she is looking to pick up now a 10th break of Sharapova on the day. Once again, return her to the outright lead.
seconds.
Wow. Could feel that that was coming. The double fault, and the last time that happened, it was on set point for Halep. That's how Halep was able to take the second set 6-1. Broken at love right here.
Maria averaging 6 double faults for the tournament coming into the match. She's now contributed 9. That's 35 overall, and boy, is that a tough one to bear. And can't help but think now as we creep at 2 hours and 7 minutes. I wondered if this could extend long. How far could we go in Rome? Relative terms, because of Sharapova's length on court, she's basically approaching 12 hours on the clay in Rome. And yet she's still got something left.
Well, she knows that she cannot extend the rallies for more than 3 or 4 exchange. Otherwise, her legs are just not bringing her to the next ball. So she's going to go all out right now. More so than usual. Just missed. That is incredible. I mean, she's not even breathing heavy from that last point, Maria. And this has been some really tough rallies here, except for this one.
Number 17 and 18 in succession, and to love. The dominance of the returner continues in Rome. Halep, slim margin, 4-3 in the third.
Halep conduce 4-3, 4 game to 3.
Roberto, it's okay. Now she's winning. She said she's okay. She can do it by herself. Well, let's see. She said at the moment she can do it by herself. If needed. Would you open the ball? One more game. Okay. Thank you.
Maria Sharapova has been relishing this successful run in Rome, and to be quite frank, going back to Madrid as well. Remember, she didn't win a match from January 20th until May 6th. Some due to injury, some due to poor performance. A 4-match losing streak, arriving in Madrid, reached the quarterfinals. Winner of 7 of her last 8. In her 6th semifinal in 10 appearances in Rome. Toe-to-toe with number 1. And she now, while her opponent has been on court for 4 hours 25 minutes at the Italian Open, Sharapova serving love 15 begins her 13th hour.
It's a brilliant return from HALEP.
0-3, love 30.
Still inflicting so much power, Sharapova. What a serve. Loves that slice on the tee. Love 30 to 30 all.
30 all.
Starting to inflict a little damage, the emotional kind, on HALEP.
40-30.
Simona from love 30 now watching Sharapova threaten to hold once again.
Finds the little pocket, cross-court short, and surely enough, little by little, she's back in this match. Don't underestimate her physical ability. And there's one thing not to ever underestimate, is her mental toughness.
Yeah, it's flabbergasting of sorts. I mean, you have to think about what she's really trying to do, instill the same sort of not only aggression but controlled aggression against the world number 1 at 2 hours and 15 minutes in what has been a marathon tournament for her, and yet she seems unwavering. There is no look on her face that betrays anything as if there's any even questioning in her mind, let alone panic. And she's put herself right back in the hunt once more, and HALEP begins game 9 in the deciding set with her third ace.
20-0. Faye England. 30 love.
I'm praising Sharapova for mental toughness, but this is equally good here for HALEP.
Bit of a statement hold from HALEP, and that's the most confident walk to the chair we've seen in some time as the world #1. Quietly but assertively from the line. Maria, you want some? I'm right here.
You want her to do it?
Have been dealt. Both players have taken a peek. Simona Halep says, I call you, Maria Sharapova. What you got?
Incredible, and she's raising her level at such crucial time. A hold, now that, to start the game. Well,
well, she's going to be throwing fastballs the rest of the way.
Once a champion, always a champion.
She's just going to look to power through here. Dance with the one that brung you.
Not this time with the lefty forehand. Could not retrieve that one. And once again, it's the down the line of HALEP that made the damage.
It'll be like 2017 all over again, as HALEP and Svitolina will dance once more for the title in Rome. But for the moment, basking in the glory, Simona Halep produces a 3-set win in an enthralling, albeit uneven, yet thoroughly captivating match against Maria Sharapova. And for just the second time in 9 meetings, back-to-back, she triumphs over the Russian. The former number 1 falls finally in 3 sets as Halep advances to the championship match in 3 sets in 2 hours and 23 minutes.
Well, she sure is proving one thing here, is the status of being number 1 in the world. Halep, I mean, the determination, hanging in there, mental toughness, just played smarter, and this guy here definitely helped her, redirecting balls down the line, especially off the backhand side. Did it with the forehand here in this last game. That was really helpful throughout the match, and a very even keel from Halep throughout the whole match. Everything was about the same in the numbers, just got to play a little bit better. Maria, I think in the second set, unfortunately, didn't return as well to take any of the serve of Halep. And then in the third, it was just Halep, just a little bit stronger to be able to come through here. And that would be, in the final, the 2 best player really of the year, I think, as far as consistency-wise.